Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another exciting, another wondrous Propagandacast straight after the new patch. And already note here, we're already seeing some of the new stuff. Changes after the patch. For example, now you can actually choose commanders right away if you so decide. And yes, indeed, we're in fact seeing one of the new ones. We're seeing the mechanized assault, and we're also immediately seeing one of the new units. In fact, a new German infantry unit, the assault grenadier. A bit more expensive than your regular grenadier, but you also get a slightly larger squad with actually something that looks like a squad leader. In this case, they've added in a panzer grenadier sort of for looks. Very nice, all equipped with MP40s. I think they're about Pioneer strength, those MP40s, but overall, I mean, they're tougher than Pioneers, and thus overall can do a bit more damage. So already there, a little bit of fun fact there. But Armyguy fighting for Germany, taking on the fight for the Großdeutschland Panzergrenadier Division, going up here against Sirmuffin of the Soviet Union, of the 5th Guards Tank Corps. Points are being secured, and we also know here that despite this, I mean, he's actually setting up an infantry company right away, in fact, and getting himself an MG42, so obviously he's not going to just rely solely on the assault grenadiers, and that's necessarily not always a good idea. I mean, they do have their weaknesses, although I'm sure there will be some telling you that they are Deutsche Supersoldaten, men that cannot be stopped by mere bullets. And certainly I would love to believe that, but you know, I also have to believe in reality, sadly. And no, they are just mere German soldiers, and thus they can be killed. But there we go, MG42 popping up there, assault troops moving up there. Overall, if they can get close, they will get an advantage. Of course, there are many things you can do to ensure they don't get too close to you. And of course, getting your troops into a building will sort of also help. Another thing is, they do have a weakness. They actually have absolutely no anti-tank defenses, no Panzerfaust, no anti-tank grenade. They do have the Stielgranate grenade assault, and that's actually probably a bit of a reference to the assault ability of the first company of yours. In fact, they have several, I would suppose. I mean, this doctrine overall is very reminiscent of it. You've got basically your assault troops with assault on it. You've got your Stu 42 sort of like thing. You've got Tigers, and you got this mechanized assault group, a bit different, but you know, basically adds in a bit of all that stormtrooper feel. So a bit of good fun there already. More conscripts arriving here for Sirmuffin. So far, he's actually doing his good job here and keeping the assault grenadiers at range. And some note here, Armyguy is actually forced to keep up, but there we go, Sirmuffin's actually advancing, and here he's making a mistake. He's actually moving up there. He might try and get off a Molotov, and no, he's moving close up to the MP40s. Note there, so far doing alright, and there we go, Molotov off, one conscript down. No, they don't do that, frightfully more damage. I mean, if you really want something good with, you know, automatics, I mean, you want Panzer Grenadiers, but assault rifle Grenadiers, again, they do have their abilities early on. There we go, second assault grenadier squad, and again, if you can keep them close, they will win out due to the fact they are considerably more durable than their conscripts, due to their one more gentleman there in the squad. And that is probably one of the actual advantages of the assault grenadiers. They are simply larger and thus more durable, and thus you're also less likely to lose them unless you really bugger up. And there we go, some minor losses, conscripts there forced away, third squad of assault grenadiers. Normally though, I mean, you wouldn't see the Germans actually largely equipping their troops like this with MP40s unless they're actually formed into assault groups. But I suppose it could have been happened. Still, I like the little detail with the squad leader there, or sort of imaginary squad leader. Really a nice little thing. They could certainly try in the future to do something more, to having sort of, you know, be a more unique model. But you know, I'll take what I get initially. But so far, I mean, we are seeing Sirmuffin here struggling a bit. He had, you know, initially here the hold on the assault grenadiers, but then he actually moved towards them, and that was where things rather went sour, because, I mean, you don't charge troops with submachine guns while they're in cover.
This is a nice spot of land, and it's ours.
But so far, we are seeing some pretty aggressive fighting here from Armyguy. He's pushing pretty far ahead. I mean, he's obviously using his doctrine the way it's supposed to be, you know, aggressively. In particular, he's going full in on the assault grenadiers. Taking up is going on. But again, no, 280 manpower, so they are more expensive, and they are also more expensive to reinforce. So that is something to remember. And there we go, we're seeing another push in from Sirmuffin. Whereas Armyguy is now spreading out a bit. Need to be careful with these assault grenadiers, or Sturmgrenadiere. certainly, I mean, again, very reminiscent, and certainly, I mean, Relic also said when they actually talked about it on the stream, they actually mentioned this as a doctrine you could sort of try at going through the entire thing without actually having to build a single building, or of course, Armyguy being slightly more sensible, you know, it's like, you know, just in case, let's get some machine and gewehren up to provide some support, in case they actually bugger up. But I mean, you can play this doctrine in different ways. We're seeing one way here, certainly not how I play. I probably use more than sort of support to my regular grenadiers. Something a bit extra, more buffed up. And of course, note he can actually now choose to flop the assault grenades, although it might not be the time. There we go, Molotov going off. And there we go, nice there too. And there we go, he's actually using it, but actually ultimately he's forced to retreat. In this case, he didn't do that much damage, which is a bit of a shame. Assault grenadiers held up here. Lots of MP40s. And they're a bit unknown. In fact, we're seeing here that Sirmuffin is surrounding them. Good job there. And there we go, full retreat from the Assault Grenadier. Looks like Armyguy's pulling up towards the right flank. In fact, looks like he's abandoning the left. Perhaps a good idea. He might have realized he was overextending himself.
Our opponents are seizing the sector.
Let's see if Sirmuffin has made a doctrine choice already. In fact, we're seeing the new counter-attack. That'll have some fun new abilities. Of course, question is, will he be planning to use all of them? But also, I mean, mechanized assault is also pretty unique in as a German doctrine goes, because it's actually very unit heavy. Most of the German doctrines so far have been very much focused about abilities in one way or another, or upgrades. This one is actually pretty much the first German doctrine to actually, you know, contain a ton of units. Assault grenades going up here. Each grenadier will throw a grenade. In this case, it seems to have cancelled, and I suppose that does again highlight that it has the same weakness as the other one. Well, that's basically the assault ability from Company of Heroes, which again is, I mean, it doesn't actually take a lot to disrupt, and you can actually end up easily wasting a bunch of munitions. So, I mean, in many senses, I mean, again, it is very analogous to the Blitzkrieg doctrine, this mechanized assault commander. And again, for those, I mean, that really want, I do miss the days of the Blitzkrieg from Company of Heroes on the Western Front. I mean, you can pretty much go, yes, I want this doctrine. And there we go, shock troopers arriving. They will definitely be able to get a good advantage in there against the assault grenadiers, since they'll be able to do a lot more damage. And of course they have considerably more body armor. Quick Molotov there. And also note here, despite everything, I mean, Sirmuffin's actually having a nice chunk of the map still. I mean, assault grenadiers are not that powerful, and certainly I'm a bit worried that some players will lose their cool, because basically they end up seeing, oh my goodness, this is new. Oh my goodness, I just remembered, I'm utterly autistic. Or at least I'd like to imagine myself autistic, so I can thus get away with throwing a complete fit. I mean, don't be afraid of something new. Always try to find, of course, realize, you know, that the Relic Balance team, you know, does have an idea about these things. So there we go. He's actually assaulting the building right there. Nice move there, although we only see one shock trooper going down. That was actually a bit of a nice surprise, nicely timed. Grenade assault. The shock troopers are moving in with their PPS 841s. And there we go. The assault grenadiers actually run into a bit of a problem there. A quick grenade, and there we go. Forced away. Shock troopers dominating the day. And we are seeing a scout call on the way. Fuel cache going up as well. Also note, I mean, the mechanized assault group is actually pretty expensive. Quick little fun fact there. As you basically get a half-track and some panzer grenadiers. The thing is, though, the half-track itself doesn't have any weapons. I'm actually not entirely happy about that. I do wish it had a machine gun, to be honest. But there you go. But there we go, fuel cache already running into problems. I mean, Armyguy will need to lead a swift and brutal counterattack in the Names des Vaterlandes. Second shock troops, I mean, looks like Sirmuffin is really now going for one kind of counter. He could also, you know, use some scout cars, because again, assault troops have very little to stop them, besides their MP40s, which have some limited success. Also noting here, another fun fact, I mean, we're actually seeing some new skins here. This is the Stalingrad, or Operation Blue camo, so a little fun there. And of course, I mean, Road to Kharkov, this also being a new map, actually a quite nice little rural map. Trying here to desperately repair. Assault gunners moving up to counter here. Assault gunners here being dealt with by the shock troopers. Of course, at the same time, this is a bit of an expensive counter out from Sirmuffin in dealing with this. And looks like, I think he actually hasn't finished this. Oh dear, Sirmuffin, I think you might have gotten a bit too eager there. And the Pioneers went down a desperate attempt to secure his fuel cache actually ended up with the Pioneers being pretty dead. Also note again, garrisoning your troops is actually one way of doing it because the MP4s again don't do much against buildings, so I mean there are many ways of dealing with this, and that's one of the things I want to stress with this replay. Again, they are against some people who seem to utterly lose it. I mean, yes, they are dashing in their uniforms, but again, they can't be handled. They are not Ritterkreuzträger by any means. And there go nice multiple against the assault grenadiers. Noting here, though, veterans you choose, I mean, these gentlemen will in fact be some pretty tough bastards. By now, they're definitely going to be some more tougher assault infantry. Pack arriving. Obviously, Armyguy worried about some sort of Soviet armored assault. Scout guy here needs to be careful, doesn't get too caught up here between the submachine guns. But over to Sirmuffin, who has definitely not finished this, and he realizes, oh, crap, you have not finished this. Also, nice use of the grenade there to actually damage the scout car. Well done there, Sirmuffin. Good aggressive idea there. Reconnaissance up here. I mean, this is pretty much the usual stuff we've seen from other doctrines, but again, for Mother Russia, rah, for the Rodina. But, I mean, it pretty much increases all of your troops in combat, also makes them sprint. Of course, you also get a huge nerf after that for a brief period of time, but still, I mean, it can actually do a lot. I mean, basically imagine it like, you know, Inspired or Seal, except you don't get the nerf at the same time. So, I mean, if you use this, probably you can actually end up doing a lot of damage, in particular with the shock troops. So, I mean, very fun ability. I think it might be a bit too expensive at 150 munitions. I think it might be. Otherwise, you also get the B4 203mm howitzer. That's definitely going to be a headache. And you also get the KB1 heavy tank, and that's pretty much, you know, the cheapest heavy tank in the game, since it only costs a bit more than a Panzer IV. Yeah, it's got thicker armor and more health than a Panzer IV. And there we go, we do see the Sonderkraftfahrzeug 250. The light half-track meant for reconnaissance battalions. With a squad of Panzer Grenadier. Again, note, no weapons. I'm a bit, again, ambivalent on that. But the Panzer Grenadiers can fire out, and of course that's a bit of the advantage. It does provide the Germans with a more mobile firing platform. And of course, you can, I'm pretty sure you can actually have any unit inside it. So, I mean, in theory, if you so wanted, you could, for example, say, you know, I'd really much like to pop a sniper into that instead of, you know, some Panzer Grenadiers, and I suppose that could work. Although I take no responsibility for the hate you might incriminate against yourself. But still right here trying to get out, they're not looking good for the scout car, or for the half-track. We see a nice chunk of units. We're seeing taking up here, tanks being made ready. Very slow chase there, and the Panzer Grenadier escort is... Look like, yes, there we go, wiped out. That was a 550 manpower and, well, about 55 fuel. Bit of a tragic waste there for him. Assault gunners are moving up. So far, though, I mean, Sirmuffin's holding up quite alright, although, I mean, we are seeing that at the same time, Armyguy pushing back pretty hard. Quick grenade here, and nice job there. Really nasty engagement, gets a bit too close to the base defenses, and there we go. Stug 3, Ausführung E, or Model E. Short barrel gun, early, well, war Stug basically. Was quite effective. I mean, it was even used against tanks, partly because, in fact, the crewmen by then were, in fact, you know, pretty much the best the artillery could provide. In fact, early Stugs were pretty much in the hands only of the artillery. So, a little fun fact there. Of course, in the game, less effective against armor, although, I mean, you still actually, at Veterans 1, get the target weak point ability, and also note here it's actually reasonably effective against infantry, and it's also dirt cheap. 160 manpower, 55 fuel. Or is it 50? Either way, I mean, not an awful lot, but again, I mean, it's pretty much going to falter any armor unless it's seriously veteran. On the other hand, it can actually do some nasty work to your opponent's infantry. T-34 arriving, Stug rolling back. Looks like the Großdeutschland here has been supported by some older Stugs they've been sent in from a nearby reserve unit. Most likely, I mean, most Stugs of this kind would either have been a training unit or been converted to the Model Gs. Now we do see that Sirmuffin's being pushed back, although I imagine he can push back hard with some T-34 action. Also noting now that the For Mother Russia ability is available.
Fresh units on the field.
And there we go, the T-34 arrives. Sirmuffin make good progress up the left flank. Pack moving up.
Capturing supply sector.
Assault Grenadier standing by. Points being secured. Pushing up here, going for the cut-off point there. Well done, well played. Coming under fire here from the Stug. High explosive shells flying out. Again, this is an assault gun just like the other Stug. Only difference is it had better high explosive rounds, thus making it better for dealing with infantry. On the other hand, it actually doesn't have access to the machine gun. Though I suppose it doesn't really need it. Molotov going off there. T-34 might flank it. In fact, we're noting here now, knows where the pack is, and he also knows it's not really there in a position to deal with his T-34. On the other hand, he just lost a squad of conscripts. That's good. All of these assault gunners moving up here. Nice grenade here would be good. Combat is moving up with the flamethrowers. They definitely need to add in. And there we go. Grenades off. And there we go. The 203mm howitzer is ready. Conscripts moving up. Shock troops doing what they can. They're barely taking any damage. Although it looks like the combat is the one taking the damage. Assault gunners being pushed back. Stug doing what he can. Veteran troop for the shock troopers. That's definitely going to make them very, very difficult for the assault grenadiers to handle. Nice there, gaining a nice chunk on the left map again. The sort of force that Armyguy is running is actually making it very difficult for him to hold any ground. And there we go, Stug getting flanked. T-34 dealing with a pack at the same time. Well done, well done. Although in theory, I mean, even this Stug could handle it due to the less experienced T-34 crews, of course, the many flaws the early T-34 had. Oh, nice job there, actually trying to smoke, trying to obfuscate. Very nice little job there from Sirmuffin. I like that, I like that. Stug doing what he can, but again, it rather has a limited effect. And there we go, Sirmuffin realising this situation cannot be gained any further from him, pulls back. Alton nicely timed there. Well, otherwise, you know, just gaining a nice chunk of the map here. I mean, absolutely well played. Although flooding a bit of manpower there, to put it mildly. He might want to consider investing in something. He could, I suppose, get the howitzer, or he could try and set up for the KV-1 heavy tank. But now we do see that Armyguy is very much on the back foot with all of this. Although I imagine he'll be counterattacking pretty wildly soon. Veteran 2 conscript, and there we go, quick assault. In one sense, they don't necessarily do that much damage. On the other hand, they can. They've got veterans, fleet assault gunners are not really having much luck here against the veteran conscripts. Stug actually reaching veterans who won, and that is one of the advantages of this, and actually veterans up pretty quickly. So nicely done there. Armyguy keeping it alive so far. And there you go, the B4 203mm howitzer, pretty heavy stuff. Can knock out a lot of German armor, in fact, in one shot, and also only fires one shot, so of course, that's also vital to remember. And even a Tiger is going to lose more than 50% of its health. So if you use this, probably can really give the German player a headache that wants something.
Enemy forces are neutralizing a sector.
Yes, comrade.
A fuel cache could also have been considered, I suppose, here. Sort of help speed up the progress towards a KV-1 heavy tank. Needs to shield this area. I mean, the Stug alone and the pack alone won't be able to hold this too much or too well.
Squad replenished. We are ready for anything. Do you need something?
Still, Sirmuffin's holding on quite nicely, although it really looks like he's launching up for another major assault. Perhaps he's waiting here for the howitzer to be ready, and then fire off to a nice target. And yeah, I do believe that's pretty much the biggest on-field artillery piece in the game at the moment. Going here for the fuel point, nicely done, coming under fire from the Stug. Boris went down. Counter-attack, and there we go, looks like, oh, we might see the Stug go down. Yes, I mean, no, 9! Oh, oh, that was close, and yes, that's a huge shell. Although it looks like he lost another squad, tragically so. Sirmuffin needs to be a bit careful of that. Grenadiers moving up. Looks like Armyguy actually gets himself some regular grenadiers, realizing he can't just rely on assault grenadiers. In this case, though, he makes a huge blunder and just charges straight into the shock troopers and veterans of 3 conscripts. Well, time to pop back to Armyguy. Time for the mid-game analysis. Current situation is, I mean, Sirmuffin has made some mistakes. He's having a bit of trouble holding the ground, and, you know, he's not mining enough. And thus, overall, we do see that Armyguy is ultimately, though, pushing through with his assault grenadiers, although it's not obviously going without its hiccups. He's actually losing quite a few of his assault grenadiers and some other troops as well. But at the same time, I mean, there's also very close here chance for a veteran C2's Duke, and also looks like he's getting awfully close to actually being able to call in a Tiger tank. So that could very well put things in the favour of Armyguy. On the other hand, we do know there's a 203mm howitzer, and of course there's also the potential for the KV-1, and while the KV-1 obviously won't be able to take on the Tiger, it might be able to keep the Tiger occupied enough, for example, to get off a nice shot from this one. But what Sirmuffin needs to do is begin mining roads, I would say, pushing up, and perhaps get a munitions cache. I mean, if he can actually get something, you know, to work with that for Mother Rush ability, he could probably do some very nasty work. Otherwise, I mean, he just needs to stop wasting away infantry, and he does have a slight habit there of losing conscripts in some slightly peculiar manners. But again, I mean, if, you know, Armyguy can pull through with the Tiger here and not, you know, end up losing in a tragic accident, he could probably pull this through with a victory. So, let us return to the fight.
Taking arms! Airstrike! Our opponents are seizing a sector.
Reconnaissance. And there we go, the KB-1 heavy tank.
Yeah.
A nightmare for many German commanders in the early part of the war during Operation Barbarossa. I mean, a lot of people like to think, you know, the T-34 was the thing that scared the German shitless. No, it was this KB-1. The T-34 they could actually deal with. The KB-1 could actually pretty much shrug off most of their weaponry. Same with the KB-2. You won't hear any stories about a T-34 holding up a German armoured column. You will about the KB-1 and the KB-2. I mean, that thing was a beast. And looks like we're seeing a pretty head-on assault here from Sirmuffin. Stuke went down, he didn't even have time to fall off the heat round, but he's not supporting it with infantry either. And in fact, he could be falling straight into a trap here as soon as the Tiger tank arrives. On the other hand, if he can recruit that pack, he would definitely stand a good chance of dealing with it, but he needs to be careful here. These are not really tanks meant for blowing away a base. They lack the serious firepower for that. Don't get too close, don't get too close. Grenadiers moving up with the Panzerfaust. All right there, nice hit from the KB-1. And there we go, Tiger arrives. The Tiger is here. And the Grenadier squad got wiped out there single-handedly by the KB-1, by the way. Nicely done. Also, fun fact, they actually had a machine gun on the rear of the turret. Not a lot of tanks actually had that. And of course, now it's going to be pushed back. Tiger arrives. KB-1, though, again, note, actually didn't take that lot of damage. I mean, it's very durable for a tank, but it needs to get out of there. So does the T-34. Simply put, I mean, they're not going to stand a chance like this. Oh, dear, you're going to try and ram. Oh, Sirmuffin, why did you do that? That's just senseless, Sirmuffin. He should just have pulled back in this case. Perhaps tried to steal that pack, you know, and done from there. But instead, oh dear, that was a bit of a blunder. Medic's getting murdered, by the way. I imagine we'll... There we go. 203mm how to fire it. Perhaps towards here. Perhaps towards the Tiger. Not sure why he was firing there. And there we go. KB-1 down. Bit of a sad loss. Again, he never really even got to flank it. But again, he shouldn't have been trying to engage the Tiger with that force. That was rather his primary mistake. Not without, say, that Pack 40. So that was rather a catastrophic blunder right there from Sirmuffin, and might have cost him the game.
I think we have their attention! Grenadiers!
I mean, the KV-1 is durable, but he's no match for the Tiger. I mean, if you want that, you need the KV-85, which was the last variant of the KV tank, which was actually given the 85mm turret off the T-34-85. Basically get something closer to a proper heavy tank. But again, not the KV-1, it did not stand a chance. So that was rather Sirmuffin throwing it all away. And there we go, veterans, 3 assault grenadiers. Those are definitely going to be a headache. No, obviously it's not going to be going all their way either.
Grenadiers ready. HMG here.
Enemy forces are securing our territory.
Panzerkampfwagen Tiger awaiting orders.
So yeah, in this case, I mean, Sirmuffin was doing alright, but a few tragic mistakes, and now Armyguy's pretty much dominating. There might be a slim hope if he can use this howitzer, probably, but so far, I mean, he hasn't really been targeting very well with it, and actually getting any kills with it, which rather obviously limited usability. So obviously there are some less than straightforward things at work here. And note, I mean, I actually received a bunch of replays, so I mean, it's not because Actor was lacking this time around, but I thought this one was overall a bit more interesting. Sure, probably the most.
The enemy is down to 200 points.
And also showed off a new map, so I rather thought this was the best one. They're obviously not perfect, and probably not the most epic of fights, but still, you know, had some good stuff going for it. Another KB1, another heavy tank. Tiger, they're moving in. Not really good exposing the rear like that. And again, note, I mean, Tiger firing reactor doesn't do that much damage to it overall. So again, very durable heavy tank, very durable. And there we go, finally a bit of engine damage there on the Tiger. Conscripts need to get out of there, come on, Sirmuffin. Something tells me about me trying to fire it at the Tiger. There we go. Huh, he gained veterans, you won. Oh, there we go, he actually hit. And there we go, I mean, already there, Tiger down to half health. I mean, I've been aiming a bit more early on that, for example, with the Pack 4, I mean, he probably would be able to get it. But again, he didn't. And thus came about his, well, not so good situation. But we do see the Tiger tank is now veterans on. We also see again the KB tank is actually able to survive a head-on slug out with the Tiger tank, but again it won't actually be able to do any damage in a frontal engagement. And obviously, I mean, you're not going to expect to win any sort of real heavy armoured fights with the KB. On the other hand, a medium fight, you can actually do your well in it, otherwise you can use it to break through a fortified line. I mean, the packs would probably have a hard time dealing with it without getting wiped out or being simply flanked. So I mean, it does have its advantages.
Yeah?
Shoots in here.
The adversary. We have a fresh grenadier squad.
3.778604 is taken.
Another Grenadier squad.
Territory is out of contact. Squad under attack!
Tiger tank getting repaired. Might try another shot.
Standing by.
And looks like Armyguy's realising something's not quite right and quickly pulling back the Tiger.
Our territory. Half-track ready. Grenadiers reporting.
And there we go, full-on assault against the shock troopers. Flamethrowers, Panzer Grenadiers, assault grenadiers, even getting panzer shakes on his assault grenadier, or Panzer Grenadiers.
The enemy is attempting to steal our sector.
Quick grenade here. And a smoke grenade here to perhaps save him some time. Ultimately, though, doesn't avail him much. And there we go, game over. A victory for the Groß Deutschland, a victory for Germany, a loss for the Soviet Union despite the best efforts again. I mean, it rather came down to this one engagement with the T-34 and the KV-1. He should not have engaged, at least not like that. Instead, he did. And, well, pretty much ended up wasting KV-1 and the T-34 in particular because he then tried to ram the Tiger from the front, which obviously didn't work out very well. Had he perhaps, again, recruit that pack, you know, supported this armament push much better, I think he might have had a chance, in particular with that, you know, 203mm howitzer with the ability, you know, to blast away at things really nicely. But again, it rather came down to the fact he had this expensive artillery, but he never really got much out of it. And then again, this engagement. Otherwise, I mean, he was actually doing reasonably well throughout the entire fight, but right there again, it rather fell apart rather seriously. Plus, a few infantry losses here and there didn't help out. I mean, he was able to otherwise, you know, counter nicely Armyguy's assault grenadiers, but again, we actually also see the advantage of the assault grenadiers in the longer term. That is, again, they're much harder to wipe out. I mean, that's really, I think, their primary advantage. They are much harder to wipe out. That's in the longer run. They're actually a really good investment because you're less likely to just suffer, you know, oh dear, a grenade went off, I just lost my veteran C3 grenadiers, or panzer grenadiers. Instead, you know, you got 5 assault grenadiers who are also more likely to spread out, and you are like, oh, great, I still got 1 guy who can retreat, or 2 guys this time around. So, I mean, that is more their actual ability. I mean, they're not necessarily the strongest, you know, close combat infantry. Again, that's more the Panzer Grenadier. But again, for their job, they actually do surprisingly well. And they can also be quite handy in clearing out houses with this grenade assault. So, I mean, they're quite handy units. The half tank, again, I'm a bit ambivalent on. Stug, again, if well handled, can actually prove quite handy in supporting other proper Stugs. So, there you go. Hope you enjoyed this match. Hope you learned a thing or 2 or 3 from it. I'll be posting some additional videos in the later days to sort of, you know, analyze the new commanders, combinations of it, and of course also give you a quick overview on the Case Blue DLC. And who knows if that also arrives, you know, that apparently that victory at Stalingrad, Theodore War stuff, that's also coming. But, you know, feel free to send in further replays. I mean, keep on sending me on this map, other maps with new commanders, with old commanders. I mean, doesn't matter. Just show me something good. So, hope you enjoyed, of course. Feel free to share it with friends, families, complete random strangers. The more the merrier. And of course, I mean, feel free to comment. What did you like to see? What did you actually think of this? I mean, so far, again, I'm positive on this. Again, there are some things that might need a bit more tuning, but overall, I mean, it actually looks pretty close, spot on in terms of balance. But again, I might be proven disastrously wrong. But this is Imperial Dane saying cheers.